What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Miss Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best, and we are here to go over our weekly recap of Love and Hip Hop Miami. This episode is titled Curse Control. I wanted to say Cruise Control. Hell, I just finished driving. Curse Control. And this was season 6, episode 12. You guys, James does usually join us for these lives, but due to some scheduling conflicts, I had to start when I had to start. His link to his channel is always in the description of this video. I encourage anyone who watches our reality TV recaps on this channel, because we do so much on this channel, to subscribe to James's channel as well, because we do a lot of collabs together. He may join in, he may not. I'm not quite sure. He does work nights, you guys. But we are going to get right on into this episode and ship it, as my husband would say. We're going to start where we left off, which was with the first scene of the episode, which was Trina being upset. Well, Trina's husband, Swerve, who looked like he needs to drink less Swerve or whatever the hell Swerve is supposed to be. But he was mad at Bobby after talking to Hot Topic in a previous episode. And she was explaining that a lot of her concerns came from Bobby, which Hot Topic is trying to not just bring Bobby down with her, but it seems like she's trying to place more blame on Bobby than Bobby actually deserves. And usually I don't defend Bobby Lights, but he seems to have calmed down. He didn't do nothing to Hot Topic. He ain't even done much to Trina. And now this poor little guy done got a beverage poured over his head that's cold. That's like, I understand that it's humid in Florida, but that's not too nice. And I'm looking at Swerve like, at the end of the day, there was no reason to assault Bobby. Now you want to speak and holler and yell. I feel like Swerve took out a lot of his frustration and anger that he had towards Hot Topic, the fans, the audience, Trina's camp. I feel like he took out all the questions that he's been receiving about who he is and what the hell his actual purpose is with Trina. I feel like he took that out on Bobby. Because though Bobby has not cared for him, Bobby actually has been respected Trina's marriage, and is accepting him off the strength of Trina. What people need to understand is ain't nobody gonna love your man the way you love them, whether you married or not. So don't expect for your friends and family to embrace and love your partner and trust them and have this great relationship with your partner the way that she does. And Trina seems like a yes woman. She not gonna have nobody around her close who's going to tell her the truth. She's not. She wants people who are going to agree with her and go crazy just to stay in her little entourage or circle, however you want to call it. Because none of this made sense. So the guy poured something over Bobby's head, even though Hot Topic is saying that Bobby was involved with her. Makes no sense. You would think, as Trina's husband, Swerve, that you would be more likely to forgive Bobby and hear him out over Hot Topic, which makes me believe Swerve and Hot Topic have some type of a past that she probably didn't let Trina know about. Personally, I feel like Hot Topic, Swerve, and most of the people in Trina's camp, Bobby and Joy included, I feel like a lot of them put up and deal with Trina, all for one, the show, and two, just to say that they know her. And in my personal opinion, Trina is not as elite as she used to be. She's not in the prime of her career. She has great success that's going to last forever, but she's not in the prime of her career no more. So they need to go be up the ass of whoever else is there, in my personal opinion. But what ends up happening, he gets the drink poured on his head. Hot Topic ends up throwing a shoe that she says is Giuseppe, but it turned out it was actually a Forever 21 shoe, according to Bobby. And yes, I believe him. Because a lot of these people on TV have y'all thinking that they're paying for expensive name brand items, and they're not. They're just like the rest of us, doing the best they can. Personally, if you don't own a home, own your car outright, and have a great credit score, you look like a damn fool buying name brand designer off the runway. That's my opinion. But the whole scene to me was stupid. Trina tried to yell back at Bobby when he came up to the car, like, no, I'm gonna continue hating him, because why would you assault me? And what Trina fails to understand, it's just because you married to this man and you don't like that people questioned your weird ass marriage that you felt the need to keep a secret. That doesn't mean that Bobby has disrespected you. So what I got from this, from how everyone acted towards Bobby, even though he was assaulted, because there's no excuse for that, it seemed like Bobby, the family on Trina's side, really don't mess with him. That's how I feel. James did make it into the live, so we're going to take a moment to welcome him in and give him the opportunity to offer his opinion on that first scene with Swerve pouring the drink on Bobby's head.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about my voice. First and foremost, it's getting worse, but I made it nonetheless. Let's get into what I think. Once again, so disrespectful, as I said last week. Pouring a drink on him. I don't understand why you did that. Don't understand. It's like you got more to hide than just this situation that everyone keeps bringing up. And also, I knew Trina was going to defend him. I knew that was going to happen. Y'all know Trina is going to ride for this man. I'm telling you, the sex must be amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it has to be. Trina does this with every guy she dates, though. She didn't want nobody questioning her arraignment about getting married. Now she's gotten married in secret. Don't want nobody commenting on that. Trina, you're a public figure. People are going to comment. They're going to comment. They just are. So I'm kind of tired of Trina with all of this with this man. I do not think it will last. And if it does, it's because Trina is desperate and at the end of her rope. She's 40 something years old, ain't never been married, been wasted half of her youth in these long relationships that went nowhere. So I feel like she's gotten to a point where she's probably just focused on what feels good to her right now. And I agree with James. I think that man's
Well, for her sake, it better last forever. That's all I'm going to say.
right, right. No, for real. I also want to know this man's age. Like the element of mystery. And what I started to think is maybe Trina and Swerve have this idea of I'm not going to answer no questions about myself so that people can become curious and they'll listen to my music, look into what I got going on. But the reality of it is her not introducing this man to us properly, not explaining anything about him. We don't really know anything other than he from Miami and went to school with Hot Topic, who was much younger than Trina. So if she would have properly introduced him, I feel like people could have their opinions still because that's going to happen either way, but they would not be going this hard, if that makes sense. So I don't know. But personally, I think we should all stop talking about Trina and Swerve. Who gives a flying fuck? We can't even find the song that they put out. We can't really find it. So I don't know what's going on, but I don't like the idea of family
It's not even
beefing.
on YouTube. The song's not even out. I
I
wouldn't
couldn't
even.
find the song anywhere. I couldn't find it on Spotify. I even went on YouTube and looked for a video. I could not find it. I typed in the name of the song, just Trina's name. I tried doing it with just Swerve, but at this point, she may not have told us his actual artist name. We don't know anything.
Oh
Swerve could be
wow,
his good nickname.
that's crazy. I thought for sure it'd at least be at the very least here on YouTube.
Hmm, you never know. You never know. But honestly, she don't need to advertise that song. That man can't rap to save his life. He's like the young Miami in boy form. He can't rap. And that's okay, Swerve. That's okay. Now, we then move on to Marcus. I refuse to call him Dr. Black. I think it's an insult of anybody who did not actually write the papers, do the dissertations, go through their get their clinical hours, whatever the hell comes with getting a doctorate of any sort, even if you got a doctorate in soccer. Don't call yourself a doctor if you're not a real doctor. Please,
Agreed.
please look up Dr. Phil. That goes for him too. Now, Brooke's husband is talking about things have been getting better between he and her after the miscarriage. I don't buy that. I think Brooke is the type of woman to get quiet, not wanting to beef with him for too much from what we saw with her and Marcus on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. Because women don't just get over miscarriages that fast. They really don't, especially when she was excited. I don't think she's just over it. I think she just wants peace. And I'm side eyeing Marcus now. And he insists on giving everybody advice when he don't even know how to take advice and needs advice from someone himself, but he doesn't know that. I'm not saying he's all bad, but if you're not sensitive to your wife going through a miscarriage, I would hate to see him in other situations that matter, because a miscarriage, it feels like a loss, feels like a death. So I don't understand that, but I guess they good now. He's in the studio and he's dealing with Ray J. Ray J is going to give us this same nasally falsetto. He took that one wish falsetto and he's going to stick to it. He has so many effects and auto tune on his voice. We don't know what Ray J sounds like, but we do know he can't sing. That's Brandy. She got the talent. Now, apparently, Ray J wants us to believe he's not having sex with anyone. He's living this great life. Um, but he's having some issues because he was attacked on the internet about a live on one of his social media accounts where, from what they showed in just that small clip, it did sound and look like he was coaching his child. And I understand people getting upset about it, but y'all upset about the fact that he's coaching his kids versus being upset at the fact that he posted his kids on the internet and himself trying to parent them. That to me is weirder than the coaching thing. Because why would somebody be dumb enough to try and coach their kids in front of the world? Why are you posting your kids and yourself talking to them after police done left your house? From what he described, you and Princess are arguing so bad in larger houses that the police are able to be called. Like, they definitely need to get a divorce. I am tired of talking about Ray J and Princess's issues. We have been talking about them since they came onto Love and Hip Hop, the franchise as a whole. So I don't care anymore. Get a fucking divorce, shut up, move on, hire a mediator, or do what that what was that girl's name, James? Brittany something, who left Basketball Wives but is now coming back, who now claimed to be a Muslim. I can't
Her
remember her
name is
name.
Brittany Renner, I believe.
Yes, Renner. Brittany Renner. I She had a situation with her ex that she played and plotted on to get the baby with, and now the ex don't like her, right? And so they don't deal with each other, but they have to co-parent, and they have like a court order with somebody so that they don't have to deal with each other at all as it relates to their kids. Ray J and Princess need that. Whatever shuts them the hell up. They have the money. Please sign them up for it. But Marcus wants for himself and his wife Brooke to meet with Ray J and Princess to try and help them work on communication. Work on your own communication first, Marcus. Worry about your own relationship. Unless you have the four letters behind your name, LPCC, LCSW, LMFT, one of those, something like that, don't be trying to fix other people's relationships. Or if you a pastor in the church, I feel like you can offer some type of advice, but even that's not always useful because they can only address like the spiritual, not the actual nitty gritty. So I don't like that he keeps trying to act like he and Brooke are so good that they can help people's relationship. That's just my opinion. Nothing really else happened in that scene. James, did you want to add something to that?
No, we can move forward because I don't really have any opinions on either the couple. Y'all know how I feel about Marcus and that whole him and Brooke situation, her miscarrying. Y'all already know how I feel about that because I felt this coming even when she had first miscarried. As far as Princess and Ray J go, they gonna forever get on my nerves. And then yeah, I don't have any other opinions. We can move on.
I feel bad for Princess and Ray J's children. And the reason I say that is because this is the example of people thinking that money is enough to make your kid okay. They are seeing this as the example. So when their kids start dating and they start repeating cycles, pushing each other in pools and other stuff, they gonna see. Now we move on to messy colorist Florence, who nobody feels sorry for. Flo is she has the support, it seems, of Haitian communities, of super Black communities outside of the US. That's what I see because I went and I looked online and she's still doing well. She's putting out music where we can actually hear her voice. Some of the songs I've seen on her Instagram recently were good. However, there was one that she put out trying to uplift Black women, talking about she's not a colorist and she's there for Black women. She's proud of her Black skin. Don't ever believe someone who's saying that they're proud of their skin, whether they're Black, brown, or polka dot, who has changed it. If you were proud of it and okay with it, Flo, you wouldn't have put that uneven crap into your ass for that crazy looking BBL. Your skin wouldn't be lightening season after season. And you wouldn't sell certain products that she says they're meant to even skin tone. You can even skin tone without changing your actual skin tone. I'm just saying, there's face washes that do that. Don't change your skin tone. There's lotions that do that. Why do you need a lightening cream? That's what I want to know. And you putting out a song about Black excellence during Black History Month when you ain't never really done nothing like that before. Seems like you're trying to profit off of your own ignorance, Flo, and I don't like that. Just say sorry. I don't get why Flo can't just say sorry. But oh, I have a comment. Hi, Shani. Welcome in. What up, twin? Hey there, Big J. Here to hit the button and show some love with 50,000 bubbles. I'll be back tomorrow for Love and Hip Hop ATL. I will see you tomorrow, my darling. I will see you tomorrow. I think we have that and Beverly Hills, which I'm hoping Beverly Hills is better than last week because last week bored me a little bit. That's just my opinion. But Flo basically invites her family to eat at what looked to be one of her businesses, and she serves them all cake, giving Amada more light, more energy. And she's basically mentioning that I think it's called Santa something, some sort of Dominican voodoo, from what it seems like. And Amada was accused of this by Mrs. Potato Head a couple seasons ago. And then she was accused again recently, a season ago, by Alan's mother and several of his family members, as well as other people. So I'm saying that to say I do believe Amada practices what Flo and several others have accused her of, where there's smoke, there's fire. I also looked it up. It's common in her culture. But let that woman practice what the hell she wants to practice. Who cares? I don't get why they're trying to make that a big deal. But Flo is trying to say that she put some sort of spell and hex into the cake and that her family should not have eaten the cake. And she gets mad when questioning her mom, which she should have done a while ago. How did you know I was at the studio? And she finds out from Marlon that her mother told him, and her mom and that Jerry curled whatever the hell was going on her head. I'm just glad she took the wig off, if I'm being honest. But her mom basically was like, you need to work this out with Marlon. Bitch, who are you? And yes, I just called her mama that. I don't care. I don't know that lady, and she's on TV acting a plum fool. I can't understand how, as a mom, you're okay with your child being married to somebody who cheats on her left and right, but with your other child. The mom is just as bad and probably sleeping with Marlon also, because he'll put his little tillywhacker wherever it'll fit. That's how I feel. Flo ends up hollering and talking about, I know my worth and you guys don't support me. And she looked like an entire clown. But what really pissed me off is she says that Alan knows her worth. He sees who she is. Girl, you you do realize that Alan is married. He didn't even belong to Amada. If you want to get back, with it just doesn't make sense to me. I'll say that because I'm not gonna say nothing nice. But yeah, Flo is a clown for that. James, how did you feel about that scene?
Let me tell y'all, I've already read this Mama Fulfilled because I told y'all it feels like Marlon got to her too. And I know that's disrespectful to say, but I have never seen someone who is so gun ho to make sure their child is with someone that has harmed them in so many different ways, not to mention sleeping with your other daughter.
Mm.
So I don't understand this unless he got to you too.
Mm.
And it's better for her to have this man than to not have it at all. And if we're still in that mindset, that's completely fine. But at the end of the day, this is not 1912. This is 2024 at this time, 2025 in today's time. What Marlon is doing is not okay. I need her to understand that. So when Flo is doing the things that she's doing, it's because somewhere down the line she's told she can't let go of this marriage. So the only other thing to do is to get even.
Mm.
So we have to look at it from that point of view. And that's sad to me. That's sad to me. And I almost feel sorry. If I didn't, let me tell you something, it'd be different. If I liked Flo, I would be going harder than this. But I don't like Flo for the simple fact that I think she is a non shit ass woman. And the whole colors thing aside, I feel like she ain't shit anyway. So I'm not gonna go as hard. But it breaks my heart for her. It really does. To see that you can't even get the support from the one person who brought you in this world.
Well, I don't feel sorry for her, even with that. I don't believe the storyline. If I thought it was real, I believe it. You got your whole family together. Yeah, why I would never put my sister and my husband in the same room together again after learning what Flo learned. So I don't buy it. I feel like all of these people are thirsty and just excited to have a check and will do and say whatever for the money and to keep it going. That's just how I feel. But the next thing we see is Amara receiving a key to the city of Miami, which tells me the bar is low in Miami. I I need to see like the philanthropy, like what have you done to give back? Um, I know she buys and flips properties and does a lot of business in Miami, but I'm just like in recent times how Amada has handled things. It's just odd, personally. Welcome in a bitch that went in. She said it's definitely a storyline. Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't believe that shit. I don't. I don't. There's no way I believe that shit. And I worry for people who believe Flo's storyline. I really do. Because it's very clear that some of it is true, or this may have happened at another time in their life when cameras were not rolling. But I definitely don't feel that any of this that we've seen in the recent seasons is true. I think the last real thing that we saw and learned was Marlon slept with Gael. But I think after that and how fast she was willing to forgive it, this can't be real. Ain't no way. Did you have
I
something
don't
to
believe
add?
I don't believe it's not real, but I believe there is some truth into the actions of everyone. And that's mainly what I'm speaking to. I'm not really speaking to the story itself. I'm speaking to the actions because I can't believe that in everyone's part in what they play, regardless if this happened in the past, present, or maybe didn't even happen at all. The fact that someone's mindset would be, oh, take your husband back, even though he's harmed you in all these ways, and even though he's made you look like a fool on national TV, it's better to have him than to not have him at all. That's still a mindset, regardless if it's for real or not. And that's what I'm speaking to. Oh, she gained some weight when she was moving on. Um, I'm gonna have to look at the scene because I really been paying attention to her. Mrs. Best, are you on mute? Or am I tripping?
Oh, hell, I was on mute. I was speaking, saying, "We are well. The right side of your nose hurts like hell. I'm sorry. I hope it feels better." Everyone is sick right now. Everybody, there's something going around. But Amara gets her key to the city. Estelita is there. I don't understand why Estelita is still on this show. I don't. Like, it seems like she just fights and it runs off, runs away. So I don't get it. But Estelita lets Amara know that she is not good with Eliza Rain in this scene, which to me makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. But the other thing that was odd is Amada is telling Estelita about the things that have been going on between herself, Flo, Marlon, Alan, the whole mess, hot mess express, we'll call it. And essentially, Amara made one comment that bothered me. She's like, Flo can have my leftovers. It's crazy because Alan is not your leftovers. That's somebody else's husband, Amara, that you shouldn't have never been sleeping with, especially unprotected, to get pregnant, not once, but twice. So, Amada, nobody has let go of your leftovers. But at the same time, I'm looking at Flo stupidly also because Flo started talking to Alan to get back at Amada, and Amada was talking to what the hell is that boy's name? Marlon, to get back at Flo originally, and just was like, yo, you know, I'm talking to people, or these people are talking to people just so that they can get back at each other. But it's stupid because Marlon's constantly cheating. Alan belonged to somebody else. So both these heifers look dumb to me. And I just wish they stopped talking about it. So that's essentially how I feel. Amarda, though, hears about Estelita having beef with Eliza, which Estelita tried to paint herself as being innocent. You came up to her event unannounced, ready to fight. She's in a VIP area. So, yes, she stayed on her phone. She stayed on her phone. Because I can't understand why Esteli is like, yeah, the bitch just want to sit there on the side quiet. What y'all don't understand is there's so much more power in not giving your ops energy than there is to actually give them energy, if that makes sense. Um, because I would have done the same thing as Eliza. You pull up to my event in public, just because these cameras is here don't mean they constantly have to fight. It does not mean that. I don't understand. Um, but yeah, that's how I felt about that. Do you have anything to add to these little heifers meetup, James?
No, we can move forward.
Okay. All right. All right. We gonna keep it moving on. Gael and her BBL meet with Fabo, who is Shay Johnson, aka Bookie from Flavor of Love's baby daddy. And we learned that these two have been talking, they've been dealing with each other. Let me catch a comment before we entirely move on. The bitch they went and said, but if Eliza is bad like she says she is, and if she about that life, she wouldn't have been scrolling on that phone. If I'm at an event for myself, if some random pulls up and I'm in a VIP area with security, big as hell, I'm not going to fight you and mess up my hair and my nails and be, going through that. No, I think what it is the beef that those two have also is not deep enough for a fight. Like if I'm gonna physically fight somebody, you need to have like slept with my man, stole some money, insulted my family, talked about my friends. Like it needs to be something heavy. These chicks are arguing over a common name for a business, foreign. So I'm like, the fact that they even want to fight is stupid. Because in the words of Miami Tip, as she said later in this episode, there are hundreds, probably thousands of businesses registered with that name as their LLC. So it's just like, But and my other thing is, Esteli don't want to fight everybody. Everybody. She want to fight the wall. I don't understand that. The bitch they would have said, you can't pull up on me nowhere I want to tussle. I will definitely always give you what you're looking for. That is where we are different. I don't have the energy no more. I just don't. It has to be something worthwhile. Now, if you pull up and you want to fight me, you talking about family, fine. But she could have, if you look at it from that perspective, she probably could have like looked up and at least read her for filth with her words. But also, side note, I don't think Eliza can fight. She seemed like that messy chick in the hood that just always talking too much stuff,
Or
always
she
getting
just throw
into
something
it.
at you.
Yeah, yeah. Not she'll throw something at you like
She gives me very much Evelyn Lozada. You know, Evelyn Lozada back in the day used to throw glasses. Do you remember she threw that glass at Royce? Yes, that's what she gives me.
She does, though. She does. Plus, when you have as much plastic in your body as Eliza does, she can't fight. She might pop an implant. You don't want to do that. Y'all see how them titties sit up? Them things are scary. For me, in my opinion, though. But the men still like it. Hell, Future bent it over, so he loved it. But Shay's baby daddy, Fabo, has been talking to Gael, who looks like a pug, in my opinion, in the face. But Fabo wants to keep the relationship secret, so they're keeping everything secret. Now, the reason he wants to keep it secret, according to Gael, is because if Shay knows that Fabo is dating her op, she's going to keep the baby from seeing him. As much as I don't like Gael, I don't think she would hurt or wrong a child. I just don't. And this is why you got to be careful how, when, who you have kids with, all of those W's, because why should you even have to worry about your baby daddy going and dating op? Like that's crazy work to me. Crazy, crazy, crazy work to me. So I don't quite understand it. But at the same time, I agree. Shay is a dummy. Just dumb, dumb, dumb. It doesn't make any sense for Shay to have ever even went so hard for Fabo to now be done with him. And Shay does exactly what Trina does. Now that we bring it up, she wants everybody to support and speak only highly of her man until she's done with them. Then she wants everybody to hate them. They just want followers around, and that's no fun. But the relationship is kept a secret so that Fabo can keep seeing his daughter. If he cared about seeing his daughter, he might have wanted to do the mom right or leave the mom so that he can go do all his shenanigans. But yeah, that's stupid to me. But Gael takes him on a date, which is backwards. She seemed like the type that'd just pay for men because she's not cute enough to catch them without all the makeup and plastic surgery. And that's just a fact. I don't care. I said what I said. But she took him on a date to the Mambo. And at first I was like, wait a second. Why would you take him to the Mambo that your sister went to put a curse on you or some sort of hex? I don't understand why Gael would go to the same Mambo. I feel like the Mambo's fake as well. But Gael has said a couple seasons ago, you put a curse, my house, my business burned down, my son went back to jail. I said, oh Lord. So she really believes she had a curse on her. Hi, Shayna. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in.
All right,
Not Trina
Shane.
is old 304. She is. Got an ass so big, look like the sun. Um, Thank you. Thank you. Please do like the video. Please do like the great video. The Miss Day would have said that was crazy that they do that. They use the same spiritual guide. How are you going to ask the lady, can you take the curse off of me that you put on me? But like that doesn't even make sense. And then a curse was also put onto Fabo of some sort. Fabo immediately walked away. He said, Rastas don't do this. I'm good. You in this on your own. And Gael, I don't know what Gael needs. I don't know what it needs. But
She
what
needs
I
exorcism because I'm telling you, something's not right with her at all. Something isn't right with her, and I've been saying this since I first saw her on this show.
mm,
Those do not work for
mm,
people who are not in your actual religion.
mm.
Like it's like hoodoo in Louisiana. It only hurts you if you believe it. It only works if you believe it, and that goes for the person who you're trying to work that on. So
Eh, I mean, the thing of it is they're trying to paint the mambo like it's a bad thing. I did look it up. I had some time, and it looks like in Haitian culture, it's more of like a spiritual thing or a religion versus something negative. Same way as voodoo down in New Orleans. There's good versions of religions, there's bad versions. I think unfortunately, a good example of that for what's going on in America, you have regular Christians who just go to church, live their life, and then you have those conservative, like radicalized, like Christians. Like there's always that. And it's the same thing in Islam and probably every religion and spiritual belief. So I'm just like, I don't want to see this mambo lady and her eyebrows no more on this show. That's how I feel. Do you have anything to add, James?
no, because I don't want to see her either. I just feel like she was. I get for the entertainment purposes why they wanted her on the show. Like I totally get it, but at the end of the day, it's like, girl, no, this is not fit for you. Are making a complete fool of yourself.
I want to know how much this mambo is making for
Me
these
too.
people coming to her because I believe if they don't always charge, but I'm sure this lady is. Uh, she said those love spells backfire. They do. You don't have to get anyone to do any of those spells for you. They will backfire. You can do them for yourself, though. That is true. Thank you for the education. Right? All of them are spiritual practices. They are. And they keep painting these practices on this show is something negative and attacking people for stuff. And I'm like, y'all all trash. If I get into it with somebody, the last thing I'm gonna come at is the stuff that they believe in. Who cares? Who cares? Let her believe what she believes. But okay, Gael, sure. Eliza has an oil event called Foreign and something oil. I thought she was just talking about like body oil or something, but apparently she's selling like castor oils and things of that nature. I want to know because it's very good to show your product online, right? It's very good to show your product, advertise your business publicly. However, I would love to know because there are thousands of castor oils and hair oils and oils like what Eliza's selling. What differentiates yours, Eliza, from the rest of the oils that's out there? You running around mad at the name. What makes your product special? Where is it made? How is it sourced? Like, where is it packaged? Where can we purchase it? All we know is the name of it. And I don't always feel like going to somebody's Instagram to learn. That's my personal opinion. Shayna say, yeah, people should do them for self love. Like Shay, she needs to love herself, not Fabo. Shay had a Yanma in the bush ready to weep. So I don't
We're
know.
like, we don't have much hope and prayer for Shay as much as we believe. And it's kind of like, I know my prayer for Trina is to pull a Eve. That's not my prayer. That's not my prayer for Shay too. I need y'all to pull a Eve
Damn.
and just
Well,
come back to us just so poised and so unrecognizable that we were thinking like, what the hell? Who is this? Where'd you come from? But we love it nonetheless because we see the growth. That's what we want for Shay, Trina, and who else? Yeah, all of them, including China in the middle.
yeah, they all have a little insecurity to the. She said, "Girl, I would not trust their products. I would not dare buy a product from Eliza Rain. I just wouldn't. Like, I think a good example for oil or some type of hair care would be Big Booty Judy, the Brat's wife. She advertised her product, showed it in her own hair, went natural, did several things. I can't see Eliza ever like showing us herself truly natural. I wouldn't trust her products at all. I wouldn't either. She said that I heard Shay does really well with her line. Shay does do well with her line. I know people, several people actually, who actively use it, have recurrent orders. Shay and Yandy over on the other Love and Hip Hop. I actually used Yelp skincare and it saved my skin, got it together. I haven't had issues with my skin since using it. I know people who've used Shay's product and have reported it works, but they tell you and let you come into the process of how it's created. They explain where it's from. They let you know what's different about it, what it's meant to do, the target audience. Like Eliza didn't do any of that. I can't stand Yandy no more either. But I
Who
will
loves
say,
Andy like that? Like, okay, here's the thing. I'm not saying I can't. I hate Yandy. I love Yandy, but I can't stand her. Yandy's like that cousin that you that's full of shit, and you can't stand them worth a damn, but you just love them because you just can't help it. That's how I feel about Yandy.
that's fair. I think a lot of people feel that way. But she's a good businesswoman. Like if we take emotion out of it, her businesses are successful. Like almost everything she creates has gone to gold. She's making a way for other people to get into business and her products work. They work and they natural. I literally understood every ingredient on the product. It was a wonderful thing. Hi DM Rocks. Welcome in, welcome in. Happiest of Tuesdays. It's not over yet, but I can't wait for Friday, y'all. I'm tired of work already and it's Tuesday. Abyss
Right?
David is are you tired? It's a
I'm
long week.
tired, and speaking of which, y'all, I got to get ready to go to work. But I love all of you. Thank you for being here for Mrs. Best. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Mrs. Best, thank you for having me for this very short period. I am so sorry to be leaving early, but I got to get to work and make the money. So I will see you soon.
No worries. I'm almost done anyway. Happy working for the
Thank
shift.
you.
Stay awake.
I'll try.
But Miss Witness said, I feel like she did all that Martin Luther King stuff for the show. I don't like people who play with their people. Yeah, actually, that's a very good point. Um, Yandy is very careful to do a lot, but I don't know. A lot of these people like to look like they're woke and all of this when they're on camera, but then when they're not, they don't care. They just want to promote their products. Um, but yeah, Liza's oil event was okay. I don't know what differs it, but Zoe came in questioning the product name. Zoe, your big ass, and yes, I've called her big because she's huge. I don't care. She knows it and she's trying to work on it, and I support that. But you got some nerve coming into somebody else's product launch asking, is this a collaboration? What is your, do you know Estelita personally? Are y'all close friends? Because you new to this cast and getting to know people. See, Zoe, I be liking Zoe, but then Zoe starts to move messy. And I don't like when people do that. Like, just stay who you are all the time. She's irritating to me. A bitch that would have said she is huge, tall and big. She is. That's a men's section in clothing, big and tall. It is. Shut up, babe. My husband is laughing at me in the background. But it's true. She be coming in all messy. A bitch they would have said, I think she asked that because both of their products is called foreign. She was being messy because Estelita had explained to her in a previous episode that she was mad and felt like Eliza stole her product name. And again, can these bitches come up with an original name before they fight each other over the name of a product? Foreign. That's such a common name for products. Hell, there's a rapper called Fabio Foreign. There's this, it's not something that's special. But I feel like she did ask probably because production probably encouraged it. Dia Brock said, I have a love hate relationship with Yandy. I think most of us do. I want Yandy to just lean into being a true businesswoman. One minute she's a businesswoman, the next minute she's a wife, the next minute she's a great sister cousin. I just want Yandy to stay the same. Sometimes. But I was so grateful when Miami Tips pointed out neither of these heifers have original business names. And Zoe looked at Tip because I think Zoe knew, leave her alone because Tip is not, she not wrapped too tight. She will get at you. So Zoe left it alone, which was the right thing to do. Now, Eliza's upset because her daughter stood up the push party. And I do believe Eliza's friend, I think his name was Cal, the one that she's no longer cool with. I do believe him. It seems like, no shade, it seems like she was a terrible parent with her first child, which she seems to acknowledge. But we never see the other kids. She does have other children. We never see them. She doesn't seem very family oriented. She is a fake politician. She's the worst example for a politician. She really is. At the end, I don't know why she's doing that. Be a politician all the time. Like, don't just suddenly come into it because it's a hobby or, I don't like that. I don't like when politicians do that. I want you to go to school, have a degree in political science or social work or something, understand the world. And that doesn't, to me, I don't care if you red, blue, or whatever other parties there are. Like, I'm just not for anybody trying to work in politics without the education. Like, I'm not for that. And Yandy, she has education, but not in politics. That's how I feel. Rich would have said he told the truth that she don't care about nobody but herself. I believe she's a terrible parent and used the turkey baster to get pregnant by Future. Yes, that's why her child support was lowered. She's not even getting that much money from him in child support. She's been exposed by a couple of celebrities for being awful, but she does seem like she's more concerned about the show because that's all she seems to do is talk about the baby. And you could tell her daughter was uncomfortable and like Eliza kind of made her come, maybe threaten the rent or something. I don't know, but I don't trust Eliza. The daughter does show up. Her name is Shamaya. She showed up late with a newborn, and not just a newborn. You showed up with a baby that was fighting for its life because she had that baby super early. Like that baby was premature to the premature, and that baby is lucky to be alive, and God bless her and the parent. But I don't like how the situation is so delicate, but Eliza keep acting like, she's the best grandma in the world. Like, girl, be there. A bitch stay when it said, I was thinking the same thing, girl. She made her daughter come. She made her come. The wig she had her baby in didn't even look like a wig her child wanted to wear. That child is a new mom, a first time mom with a newborn that was born prematurely, coming out to an event with a stroller that looked brand new. So I don't like how Eliza is as a parent, and I don't like that production is willing to let this happen. Give that baby a contract producer so that she can get paid to talk about how trash her mama is, because there are a lot of parents out there that will try to act like they're the best when it comes to people, watching from the outside looking in. There are a lot of parents out there that are more focused on money. There really are money motivated parents. Oh, I'll buy this, she'll show up. I'll buy this, she'll be good. And it's not always that way. Kids need more and sometimes just want love and support from their mom. And the last thing that girl needs is to be having beef with her mama as a new mom. She just should not have that. Yandy is doing singing now. I saw, and she's actually decent. It wasn't bad. Do I care for Yandy singing? No. I feel like it'd be like Tammy Rivera, Walker's ex-wife. She did her songs, made her little music, had a little career, and then, she went on about her business. I feel like Yandy will do that. She'll be on to something new. He said they didn't show the baby. I wonder if the baby is out of the woods yet. That's what I'm saying. If this day when I do not think I think the baby's out of the woods to be brought home from the hospital, but I don't think that her daughter is able to like go too far for too long without the child because of how fragile the situation was. But I also feel like Eliza was like, fine, I'll show up, but my baby ain't gonna be on camera. I feel like she also gave that because it definitely seemed like Eliza wanted the baby to be shown, and she just seems off to me, trash. To tell the truth, now that I think about it, I don't think the baby was in the stroller. Nobody said anything to the baby, and they didn't show it. You are brilliant. You should have been a detective. A bitch that went, and I'm here for it because I agree with that. I agree with that. I can because I was watching, and you know, when you just get a feeling like I hope the baby's in the stroller, but then as something so sensitive like a baby being born early, you just hope that ain't nobody playing with us. I don't blame Shemaya, but I'm side eyeing the fuck out of Eliza because why would you even make your daughter come out in public after she just went through the trauma? Your child born early, you don't know if the baby gonna make it. Now your mama's pushing you on camera. Like that child probably wasn't in there. You probably right. You probably right. Eliza can go. I don't need Eliza Rain on this show. She says she was here for real estate. We haven't seen her sell one house. Now she wants to make oil, some foreign oil. And let me tell you this, when I think of like stuff I put on my body, foreign doesn't just represent people from elsewhere. Okay? Foreign is something unknown. Also, if you look up the adjectives and things to I I I, mm, I don't think that was a good name for an oil personally, but okay. Um she gave a speech that pissed me off. She was saying, I didn't know you would show up in front of everybody with her daughter, which was very strange because you stood me up for the push party. Why are you mad that she did not come to her push party? Why are you mad? Knowing what was going on with that baby makes no sense whatsoever. Then she gives a public speech calling out her daughter and saying she's so glad for her to be there. Do you think this girl gonna keep showing up if every time she come to an event you talking about how y'all wasn't close and you're working on things? Like maybe she don't want all the business out there. Eliza is just uncouth and it's annoying, personally. And I want her to go off the show. If you're not gonna argue with nobody, you're not gonna fight, you're not gonna do nothing, then why are you here? Like, why are you here? I don't get it, Eliza. Why are you here? Either go back and climb the pole. Hey, I don't judge. Nothing wrong with climbing the pole. I like strippers. Or go sell a house. Talk about Future and why he can't stand you. Do something. But we then move on to the next scene, y'all, which is Brooke meeting with Princess Love. Here's the thing. Brooke, you irritate me. You lucky there's no more reunions on this show because why you can't admit that you was laughing at Princess smacking Amada? Because it was funny. It was funny as hell. I was like, oh, you slapped her. That's how you know you don't respect her. You didn't even take the energy to take off on her. You just slapped her calmly. So Brooke, just admit you laughed because it was funny. Hell. So lied straight through the teeth. Now, we did see Ray J and Marcus come in after Brooke and Princess are talking. And this is where Princess explains, like, hey, Ray J said he smelled Amara's poon poon and he's disrespectful and all these things. Brooke did not know these things and had to sip all the wine. So Ray and Marcus come in, and Brooke says immediately, you know, you are the company you keep, I was taught, which I'm a firm believer in it. You are the company you keep. And even if you are different, the perspective of you will be of the company you keep. So be careful who you hang out with. That's just how I feel. And Brooke brings that fact up to Marcus about him hanging around Ray J. And he's like, what is that supposed to mean? And he's like, well, you sniffing poon poons and you feel like it's okay for you to cheat as long as this was strippers and something else he said, strippers and hoes or something like that. And I'm like, that sounds like something Ray J would say. That sounds exactly like something he would say. And Brooke, this is why I said at the beginning of this live, just because your relationship is together doesn't mean you should go and tell other people how to be in their relationships. Mind your black owned business. That's what you should do. That's my opinion. I have a good relationship with my spouse. We're good. We rarely argue. There's no infidelity going on, none of that on either side. But that doesn't mean that if I see my friends struggling going through it, that I'm going to be like, well, come meet with Amina and Josiah, and we're going to counsel you guys on how to be together successfully. No, they have to want it. And Brooke and Marcus do not have the ability to put their success in their relationship onto others. They just don't. It doesn't work out like that for everybody. It just doesn't. Uh, but basically, Brooks gets drunk and starts questioning Ray J about his strippers smelling coochie. And Brooke pretty much came for Ray J, and it was random and it made no sense. Marcus tried to get her to stop. She was not here for it and listening to that. And Ray J got mad. He said, "This is preposterous." And he left. He said, "This is unacceptable." He told Brooke to grow up and stormed out. Ray J, go straight to hell. Now, Brooke, I agree with this comment from a bitch that went, and she was out of line. She's been messy. It's like, stop playing like you people's friend when the reality of it is you just glad to be back on TV. Go work on your album. Brooke is so talented. Go work on your album. Give us Girl Fight Part 2. Why are you so invested in these people and their relationship? Because it wasn't too long ago, Brooke, that Marcus had you on Love and Hip Hop looking a actual fool. He was cheating on her left and right. Left and right. I ain't forgot. So it's interesting that she did that. And I can understand, her sticking up for her friend. But this is why I say, Marcus, stop trying to act like you and Brooke need to fix stuff. Marcus is the one who's changed and likes to give advice to couples. But he can do that without Brooke, because Brooke is not there. Brooke is still petty, messy. She gonna do what she do. And Ray J, this is preposterous. Grow up. Ray J, you grow up. If you grew up, you wouldn't be going through a divorce right now, Negro. Get it together. I'm just saying, get it together. You telling somebody else to grow up when the whole reason that you met up with the model was to piss Princess off. So it was like the pot calling the kettle. You know what I'm saying, y'all? But Brooke did act a fool. So it's like two things can be true. And Brooke acted a fool. Ray J's childish. Princess, keep your hands to yourself. Marcus, you're not a doctor. That's my opinion on the whole situation. But Princess is done with Ray. She just sits there calmly. I feel like Princess has been trying to divorce Ray, but he don't want it to happen. Or because of the money and businesses that they have together, it's harder to divorce. But at this point, y'all just doing damage to them babies. Get divorced, move on. We don't care. Keep Ray J and Princess off of this show. I don't care anymore. I don't care. In the words of James, we knew this relationship would never work when he pushed her in that pool. And then we saw Brandy almost want to knock Princess upside her head during the planning of that wedding seasons ago. So I'm over the Norwoods. I'm over all of it. Show us something different. So we have to come back to Flo, y'all. I apologize in advance. Flo's dumbass claims that she caught feelings for Alan, Amara's baby daddy, aka somebody else's husband, and several other people's baby daddies, apparently spread out throughout the United States and surrounding island. I'm just saying, it's a fact. So I'm like, girl, how dumb are you? How you catch feelings for a man that's married while you still married, when you were only talking to him to get back at him, to get back at Amara because she start talking to your husband. It just doesn't make any sense. Now you say you have feelings. Okay. So she says that Alan awakened a part of her that she thought she was dead. He must have good dick. I'm gonna just say it. He has to, because what other part of you could be awakened? He doesn't even speak in complete sentences to her all the time. So what was awakened? That kitty cat was awakened. That's the only thing that I could think. The only thing that I could think. But he goes right into Amara. They're walking together and all of this. And Alan's like, listen, we got to talk. You made problems for me with my kids. You ran back to my baby mama and told her everything we was talking about. And Alan's trying to make himself like a victim. But it's like, Alan, you went to deal with Flo because you was mad that Amara didn't want your daughters with her to meet all your other daughters by your other mistresses and side hoes. So you go and try to make friends with her enemies. Now you're trying to play innocent because you got in trouble. Because at the end of the day, Amara is the mother of his youngest children. So he has to interact with her, and it's more peaceful without the drama. It just is. But personally, just because you mad at your baby daddy and don't like who he dates, in my personal opinion, that should not impact him seeing the babies. Make him come to your house and see them kids. Meet at a hotel. Have your mama go with him and they, go to a park or something like that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But essentially, Alan ends up dumping Flo. He tells her she's not loyal, and he explains to Flo that she has no right to mention his children's at all when arguing with Amada, because her issue, and he was actually right, and I hate Flo for making me have to agree with Alan. Your beef with a person has nothing to do with their kids or their family, right? It just doesn't. I've had issues in the past with people myself who have kids, right? I would never bring up someone's parenting or children when I'm in an argument about them. That's like if someone pushes you to the ground and you fall, right? And then you're like, whatever, bitch, that's why your mama this, your kids that. It's like, what does that have to do with the issue? Talk about how I look. Talk about my businesses. Talk about call me broke. Say what you got to say. Talk about my looks if you have to. But don't bring up the kids or someone's parenting. I think that some stuff should be off limits. And it's crazy because Flo keeps saying, well, I'm acting a fool because she did this to me. Just because somebody does something wrong, don't fix it. Let's go back to elementary, everyone. Two wrongs doesn't make a right. You can't fight fire with fire. All these terminologies we learn, we should definitely apply them when it comes to kids and, more sensitive matters and topics. So I was glad that Alan did tell her that, but he ended up dumping her and walking off. And I think he would have stayed on the date if Flo would have been like, oh, my bad. But the fact that she doubled down on it and was like, I don't regret what was said, at the end of the day, Flo, them is his kids. So you gonna lose when it comes to the beef with the martyr in his eyes. And the fact that you actually caught feelings, stupid. At least the martyr didn't catch feelings for Marlon. She was just like, yeah, that's my friend. But Lord, I agree with this too. As he should have walked off because she looked terrible in that Burberry dress. That's what happens when you got to just buy designer stuff off the shelf and figure out how to get it to fit into your over BBL body. She can't afford nobody to alter it, so she got to put it on. Hey, it did make her look bigger too, which I didn't understand because Flo is a pretty girl, but sometimes her hair, the baby hairs, whoever does her wig should be sued. You don't need your baby hairs to come from your hairline to touch your eyebrows. You just don't. And she wears too much makeup and she does not need too much makeup. So though I don't like Flo, beautiful girl. And she hides the beauty with all this extra shit she keeps doing. But Alan dumped her. So now somebody married them been dumped by somebody married, which was funny to me in some ways. So next thing we see y'all towards the end of the episode is Amada performing on stage. And after she performs, and I was glad to see Amada perform because when Amada first came on Love and Hip Hop Miami, she was really giving us the music, the career, and the dating, all of that. You could tell the fame went to her head a little bit. So it was kind of nice for me personally to see her just get back on stage and do that. Now, after she performs, she talks to Brooke about meeting with Ray J and what happened with that and the sniffling coochie. Brooke asked Amada, like, did he sniff your coochie coo? And Amada's like, that did not happen. He ended up at my house because I didn't have a nanny. My mom was overwhelmed. I'm like, one, stop having your mama watch them kids. Let her just be a regular grandparent. Hire a nanny full time if that's the case, if you know your mom gets tired. And then in previous seasons, we saw her mom struggle with health issues. So it's like, if you know she got these problems, hire a nanny. Let your mama watch the nanny, watch the kids, and go from there. It's starting to give Amara uses her kids to get out of stuff. I don't think her kids were home at all. Because why would you bring Ray J home in front of your kids? Like, I'm not saying he's bad to be around kids, but if I was a parent, I wouldn't have my kids around nobody that I was unsure of. That's for damn sure. So it was just weird. Like, just admit you did something because you was petty. We watched you befriend Marlon just because you was mad at Flo. So why wouldn't you do the same thing with Ray J? Because why is he coming to your house after his wife just smacked the shit out of you? What you doing, boo? What you doing? She said she could have took him through another door. She could have, but He said and described her house. He saw every rich point of that house. She has 2 toddlers, twins. I don't buy that her kids were home when Ray J was home. I do not think they had sex either. But I don't think that her kids were home. I just don't. But I do feel like something happened, or like maybe they flirted and did something, but I don't think they like went all the way to penetration and dropping it low and busting it wide. I don't think all of that happened. But they're both petty, so I'm not surprised. But basically, Amada says that that did not happen, and she's expecting to see Princess again. I think that slap hurt Amada, because if somebody slapped me like that, I wouldn't go around them again. I just wouldn't. And I stand with Princess in the sense, if you're supposed to be my friend, right? Just off the strength of girl code, please do not hit up my man without telling me first. Even if we are not in a good place, about to get a divorce, all of that, tell me you're going to meet with them first. Because if it was really about business, Amada would have done that. So that's where I call the BS. Now, last thing we see is Angela, aka Black China, having her sobriety party. She has been sober for 2 years. People don't understand how hard it is to truly be sober. And I'm not just saying that for people who may have struggled with addiction or alcohol, substance use disorder, things of that nature. Like, I don't think people realize, sobriety is a big, big, big deal. It is a hard thing to do, especially when you're surrounded by the types of people that Angela White is surrounded by. She came up and got famous off of being in the strip club. She's constantly in Hollywood around music producers and party scenes. So I respect her a lot. That takes a lot of self-will to maintain her sobriety in that situation. And I'm glad to see her go from crashing out in the airport on the internet to getting her stuff together, being able to have custody of her children and all of these good things. She has grown, and I respect that. So the episode does end here, but we see Amada go up to Princess to start talking. And I love how unbothered Princess is. Shout out to the town and the women from here. Because she said, girl, I ain't bothered by you, but you disrespectful. What I hope for the conversation when we see the rest next week, Princess, just apologize for smacking her and learn how to use your words. And Amada, apologize for not telling Princess that you were going to talk to Ray outside of your friendship. Apologize for that, and apologize for getting smart when Princess did try to have a conversation with you. Because that is the move of a fake ass bitch, Amada. Because if the same thing happened to Amada that happened to Princess, Amada would feel away as well. So Amada likes to act innocent when she's doing stuff that's shady to other people. But if the tables were turned, it wouldn't be that way. And it annoys the crap out of me, y'all. It annoys me something so vicious. I can't explain that to you. Anywho, y'all, that's about all that happened this episode. I appreciate those who constructively commented. If you come in my comments with bullshit, I'm going to just keep it a buck with you. That's going to be you. Your comment will stay there and all of that. But this is not a place to come talking about what you started and put in your nose and all of those things. Good for you. I don't judge it. We're here to talk about a show, not what you do with your drugs and all of those types of things. So to the person who did that, please don't come back on my channel with that. Please don't. It's not appropriate. It's not cute. It's also Tuesday. And yes, you are a dumbass for snorting anxiety medications. With love. So that is my recap of Love and Hip Hop Miami. The episode was titled Curse Control. If you guys feel different with me, agree with me, or just want to comment your opinions, feel free. Even when we're no longer live, the conversation continues to keep going and all of those beautiful, great things. We will be back on this channel again tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be going over Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, as well as the Housewives of Beverly Hills. I also have music reactions that will be dropping on Friday and Saturday. Several music reactions coming, as well as an album reaction. And on Thursday, we'll be on James's channel to go over the Housewives of Salt Lake City. So be sure to check the link in the description of this video. Subscribe to his channel if you like what he has to say and all that we do. Other than that, we appreciate all of you. We hope that you guys enjoy your evening, day, whenever you're watching, and we'll see you on the next live. Adios.